Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I'm a humor slut.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase, and I'm not going to clarify what I mean by that.
Hey, buddy, I get it. I get it. Hey, Remington, I want to talk to you about fantasy today.
All right. Oh, actually, okay. A lovely trip to Chicago. We touched on it in the pre-banter, but if you want to talk more about the Pope, go for it.
Okay, I'm not talking about sexual fantasies. I'm talking about fantasy as in the overarching genre, Rem.
Would it be out of pocket to say we could still be talking about the Pope?
Well, weirdly, Rem, that actually kind of is a good transition into what I'm about to talk about with you today.
Oh, here we go. All right, let's hear it.
Because, Rem, there's lots of different types of fantasy out there, and a lot of stories like to dip into different flavors of fantasy. And
so we're finally dipping into Christian fantasy.
Well, kind of. Yes, but also no.
Okay.
Because, hey, Rem, how do you feel about having mythology in your fantasy?
That's rad for me. I dig mythology and whatnot, so.
So, like, say a fantasy story about, like, all of the all of the gods of, Earth's mythology, like your Greek gods, your Norse gods, your Hindu gods, all those gods.
But do we also get Jesus?
You get pretty close. Because Remington, today what I have for you today is a special little fantasy show, all about the gods of the world.
Ooh, all right, okay.
And the gods, they can be fickle things. And it's been done before, stories about gods, like I think American Gods comes to mind whenever I think of the subject, or some of the later episodes of Supernatural, which I wish were better. Just the idea of that, hey, it's not just one specific mythology that's right. They're all right, and all the gods are real. It's just, they vary in scope and power and different influences on the world.
Sure.
So it's a pretty good premise, pretty good. And my question for you, Rem, is how would you feel about a show that was about all of these gods, but the twist is...
If you say some fucking shit like, oh, they're going to high school or some shit,
No. Nothing as mundane as that, Rem.
Okay, all right.
But what if they all recently decided that humans kind of suck and we should just wipe them out?
This sounds familiar. It seems like something a lot of them have done before.
Yes, but have all of them come together to make that decision?
Oh, they were like, yeah, we all have the right idea, but now all we need is the teamwork. They've unionized.
Because today...
They've unionized in their pest control.
Yeah, so today, Remington, the show we're going to be talking about is Shumatsu no Walkure, or the English translation is... The direct English translation of that is Valkyrie of the End, or Valkyrie Apocalypse. But apparently that wasn't the best English translation, so they decided to call it Record of Ragnarok instead.
Okay.
So, that is, quite frankly, the bare bones basic premise of it. It is quite literally every 1,000 of years, all of the gods come together, and I do mean all of them, and democratically decide whether or not humans should be wiped off the face of the planet, and they should maybe start over. Because it turns out the gods aren't too happy with how we've been doing things, Rem.
All right, give me a courtroom drama.
A courtroom drama, you say?
Courtroom drama. Hell, I want 12 angry men, but it's just 12 angry gods, brother.
There are way more than 12 gods. Way more than 12 gods. Well, unfortunately, Rem, you're not going to get that because this year they've come together and unfortunately, more or less unanimously agreed. It's like, yeah, we got to get rid of them. Yeah, we got to get rid of them. However, interrupting them, Brunhilde, one of the 13 Valkyries of Valhalla, if you're familiar with your Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, look, we can kill them, but shouldn't we at least give them a chance?
Well, I mean, wouldn't giving them a chance be everything they've done up to now?
Yeah, but that's not as entertaining for a show, Rem. So what is proposed instead is having 13 of the mightiest mortals have a chance to fight one-on-one with 13 gods.
Oh, it's just fighting? Come on now.
No, Rem.
Come on.
No, Rem. There's deep emotional thought put into this whole ordeal. And plus, figures of history, figures of mythology, interacting with the gods of the world to save the fate of humanity.
I just want Jesus to kick somebody's ass.
How do you feel about Adam?
It's a strange choice, but
I mean that's the first one I can offer you.
Why not at least like David? Like just Adam? Adam's just a guy. Right? He's a poor naive fucker. Like he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Oh man, it's almost like you nailed his character right on the head.
I'm just saying.
And say if Adam was to fight Zeus, would that be a problem?
Yeah. He's gonna get fucking fried, dude.
Don't you want to see how that turns out?
I know how it turns out.
Yeah, but do you? It could be anything, Rep. Could be anyway.
Like, best case scenario is Adam's like, oh no, please don't look at my dick, I'm naked. And Zeus is like, damn, you are naked though. And then, like, they fuck. That's best case scenario for Adam. Otherwise, it's just lightning bolt KO. Like, he's just a fucking guy.
But hey, the event's going to be called Ragnarok, and that...
I guess maybe best case scenario, it's Adam before, like, taking a bite of the apple and sitting at anything, in which case he doesn't know he's naked, right? Dick out. And then 2, he will not know death. But even in that case, he doesn't know shit. He doesn't know anything, right? He has no reason. So he's, like, either invincible and dumb, or ashamed and vulnerable.
Well, hey, maybe we'll get to see that. But I know
we're gonna see Adam's schlong hanging out.
I mean,
that's what we're gonna see.
I wouldn't put it past this anime. But let me tell you, if this piques your interest a little more, the first fight involved is one of your greatest enemies.
Oh,
Lu Bu.
What the fuck is going on?
He's one of the greatest mortal warriors, It wasn't just going to be, white people.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Yeah.
And also, like, I would argue, like, Adam shouldn't be white.
Well, I don't think they got the memo when they wrote this one.
Oh, I see.
Look, man, I living in Utah, I've seen snow that's not as white as this guy.
I see. It's Mormon Adam, who's from Missouri. Just a white guy from Missouri.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, God.
Well, I mean, Lu Bu takes it. GG, Lu Bu wins.
Even if you don't know which god he's fighting?
Oh, it's Lu Bu, mate.
Lu Bu always wins.
The number of times where I've been decked out in stats been like, boy, I'm a god among men. And then I've went and fought Lu Bu and he fucking kicked my ass and I was like, oh, fuck, oh, no. Yeah, no, it happened all the fucking time in those goddamn games. So, you're damn right. Yeah, Lu Bu takes it.
Oh, well, then let's go find out for certain, Rem. Because I think without further ado, let's go straight into it. Let's go watch some Record of Ragnarok. And we are back after watching the first 5 episodes of the original Netflix anime Shumatsu no Valkyrie, or Record of Ragnarok. And Remington, I told you what was gonna happen.
It's true. It's true.
But the question is, did what happened give you any amount of joy, or do you want to wonder why the world exists?
Well, hey, let's just jump right in, shall we?
That's always a good sign.
Maybe it's a good sign, maybe it's a bad sign. It's a neutral sign, all right?
Okay.
We start off episode 1, all the exposition and whatnot. Gods want to destroy Earth, the Council of Valhalla, which Zeus is
Presiding over.
leading. It's kind of also one thing. They really only care about Greek and Nordic pantheons here.
What? No.
They really
no. But Rem.
only care about those two.
But Rem, one of the first people to speak up about it was oh god, their name just left me. Shiva, yeah?
Sure. But Shaun?
Yes.
So I mean there's lots of different kinds of like gods and divinities out there, lots of different pantheons, lots of
I would say hundreds.
spirits. Oh yeah. So it is kind of and some are more prominent than others, but there's plenty of even just prominent ones, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird that out of the 13 gods that they've chosen for their team, almost half of them are from 2 pantheons.
Yeah.
That and here's another thing, right? They didn't have to do that to themselves. They didn't even have to say like here's the full list. They chose to put the full list
right up at the front.
They could have. Yeah, so that they were like locked in, so that they could have had the option to like get a little bit of feedback as it goes and being like, oh shit, dude, you the first 5 and already you've repeated blah blah blah, maybe you try doing something like this or something. But no, they early on are like, these are the 13, 6 of which are from the Greek and Nordic pantheons. Which, hey, there's some fine selections there, right? I would probably disagree with like Apollo over Artemis or Athena, for instance.
You know,
in fact,
the goddesses who are known for absolutely destroying people.
Yeah, in fact, I think that you could certainly mark a general sexism here. I think that an artist tells you a lot by how they depict Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty.
What do you mean, Rem? Aphrodite is a beloved character, after all.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of different possible depictions, right?
Yeah.
And it's but I think that it is telling. For example, in this case, they were like, who gives a shit about any other quality of hers? She must have the biggest boobs around.
Yeah.
Right? And clearly that is this artist's pinnacle of beauty. Frankly, I'm surprised that she wasn't just like one large pair of breasts without like arms or legs or anything. Because I suspect they would find that even more beautiful. This was them like toning it down.
Well, hey, look on the bright side, Rem. At least they had the courtesy, because the gods don't have bras after all. So,
oh yeah.
They at least had the courtesy to make sure that she was always supported wherever she went.
So we get the Council of Valhalla, and Brunhilde interrupts and is like, hey, how about this? Here's an unfortunate thing. For some fucking reason, Brunhilde and her Valkyrie sister, who I don't know her name. I don't know the little sister. She always whines and stuff, and it I don't know what that is. They interrupt, I suppose, and they're like, hey.
Yeah, that's a goal, I believe.
Sure. And so it's like, hey, you little bitch, you fight the humans unless you're a little bitch. And then they pull out, I guess, a rule book for some reason they have a rule book, even though they're like, ultimately it's whatever the fuck they want. But for some reason they have a rule book. And for some reason, in that rule book is an in-depth process that has never happened before.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta have the book at least.
But you don't need to have the book. I don't know why the book exists, and I don't know why the book has complicated procedures that have never happened.
Well, I mean, if you don't have the book, how will you know how to do the procedures that have never happened?
You don't even need... Here, you just have it be like, Brunhilde says, all right, here's what we're proposing. All right, one-on-one battles first to 7 wins. Sound good? Cool. There you go! Like... There is zero reason to be like, well, according to the rule book, the one we wrote but don't need to listen to because we can do whatever the fuck we want. according to the rule book, there's this thing that nobody has ever done. We've never done this. In fact, we think it's pointless. We think it's stupid. We can't even fathom a world where we would ever do this, right?
Yep.
Because it's so stupid.
Yep.
But we wrote it down.
Uh-huh.
We at one point, maybe we thought it was less stupid. I don't know.
Well, are you trying to say... Well, hey, Rem, you know the gods are fickle, right? So maybe this was a clever narrative device to show how fickle they can truly be.
This show doesn't have clever narrative devices, Shaun.
No? No? You're telling me that...
We'll get there. So, first to 7, so you need 13 competitors, because what if it goes to the very end, right? What if? Who knows? It's unlikely, but it might happen, I suspect.
I mean, I have the wiki pulled up right now, and there are a couple gods listed with a TBD listed for their round participation, so...
God, it's not even there yet. All right, so they end up accepting, right? And we get this big old arena. First battle is Thor versus Lu Bu. And you know what? It gets it kind of hype, just bringing them. I do think we could have had like some different body shapes and styles rather than just standard anime shonen bullshit for them, right? Does Thor need to look like he's from any other shonen out there?
You know, I'd argue he doesn't look like Thor at all, honestly.
Yeah, like, look, I don't need like a necessarily a God of War Thor coming in, but like, you know, it might be fun to have just a little bit of variety, just a tiny bit. But
also, why is Thor ginger? That's a good.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a real good question, and also his hammer is fun.
So you got Thor versus Lu Bu, and as they like enter and stuff, right? It gets kind of hype, and even with Lu Bu, you have like Zhang Fei and Liu Bei and Guan Yu's and Lu Bu's entire fucking army, and they're all cheering him on. And it's like, ooh, this is pretty neat. This is pretty neat, actually. Some fucking pro wrestling style entrances on a grand scale. So even with all of the flaws up to that point, right? As we're getting to this fight and the episode ends with them like crossing weapons, like things are about to go down, it did draw me in. Because here's the thing, Shaun, this is a dope ass premise. It's a great one. It's such a good premise.
Uh-huh.
And so even if the writing is bad, which it is, man, Jesus fucking Christ, the writing is bad, the storytelling is bad, all of that absolute dog shit. But if they can capture the spectacle, and if they can just make an excuse to give interesting fight scenes with pretty high stakes, fuck yeah! Then that's fine. Look, people think that I'm some kind of party pooper, that I can't enjoy things, and it's just because they're not well done. In this case, even if the writing isn't the best, if you show up and you're like, hey, what you came here to see though is like Lu Bu versus fucking Thor. That's what you came here to see. Let's show it to you. So so if you pull that off, then the bad writing, while it would be like better, obviously, if it was good, it's at least excusable, because it's like, that's not what we're here for. Wish it was better, but well. Which is why it is so fucking devastating that the fight scenes are the anime trash I have criticized endlessly. It's just super move, random twist. Instead of any meaningful fighting or interaction or engagement, why can no one make an interesting fight scene? Jesus fucking Christ. Like, so how it goes, Thor charges up, right? We get a little flashback to him fighting the Jotun army when they were attacking Asgard, and it was saved by Thor, and he kicked ass, and it's very much attack on Asgard, right? And it's a fine little background scene. All right, cool. And we see back to the present, Thor hits Lu Bu with the thunder mallet, but Lu Bu, he lives, and in fact, he slices Thor. Then we get some Lu Bu lore. Okay, all right, we're spending a little bit more time than I would like on these, but it's fine. It's within the reasonable amount. Zeus is bewildered at what's going on a little bit, and then it starts to go really downhill, because at the end of episode 2, we learn that, and this is a quote, the source of all God's strength is their weapons. And so the plan is for the 13 Valkyries to turn into superpowered weapons, putting the humans on an even playing field with the gods. And that's so fucking dumb. It's so dumb and boring. You've had an interesting premise. You had it super fucking cool. And look, you might say, but without some bullshit, right? Without a little bit of bullshit like that, how could humans possibly stand a chance? And it's like, yeah, that's the fucking point, dumbass. How are they supposed to stand a chance? And then you have to make a convincing reason that isn't just, well, all that matters is magical weapons. So instead of interesting things happen, here's a magical weapon. There you go. Who cares about your mortality, I guess? Because you got a Valkyrie halberd. And man, look, if you just had it where it's like, look, the gods have an advantage. Obviously, they have an advantage. But humanity, we are tenacious. We are clever. And gods, they're filled with hubris, and they often have well-defined weaknesses, right? So it's all just figuring out how to capitalize on those. And each fight, instead of it just being like, well, I use my superpower weapon against your superpower weapon. And it's like, oh, and who gives a shit which one is human or god? It's all the exact fucking same, I guess, because all that matters is the weapons, I guess. Why? You don't need to level the playing field. It's interesting that it's so slanted, and then you make it so we still believe the humans have a chance, right? So that was greatly disappointing. And I really didn't like it. But there was still a little bit of hope, because I was like, all right, you know what? I thought we'd probably get the end of the Thor versus Lubu fight in the second episode, but they did have to get into their backstory. They did have to get into their backstory and talk about the Valkyrie weapon. So, like, okay, all right, I'll give them another episode. So, episode 3, Lubu's halberd, it's a Valkyrie, and is able to shatter Thor's gauntlets. Zeus becomes horny for Brunhilde's rebellion, and I'm okay with, like, obviously Zeus being horny like that checks out, but why is he horny about this? What?
Yeah, he's never really been one to be like a war-loving god. He's just more of a fuck-loving god.
Yeah, like, he wouldn't be like, oh god, the way she stirs up rebellion, that's so fucking hot. Rather, he would just be like, yo, you're hot. Full stop. That'd be it.
Yeah.
So Mjolnir starts to melt, but then it also starts getting a heartbeat, and it kind of hatches, and, like, it doesn't hatch into anything, but it just kind of hatches in a fleshy way. And it's like, oh, we're gonna get weird body horror? Not really. It just kind of hatches. And as it turns out, the gauntlets, it's like, oh, they weren't protecting Thor. They were protecting you from Thor's full power, which is really fucking stupid.
Agreed.
So he charges up his hammer some more, and he throws it, and Lubu dodges it, but it comes back, and Lubu parries it. And that's episode 3. That's the entirety of episode 3. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fucking happens in the fucking fight scene, and it's just not very interesting. And this is the episode we get the full list, and I've listed my problems with the god side of things. With the human side of things, come on now. All right, unsurprisingly perhaps, that it is a bit Japanese-centric on the human side, substantially. Let's see, it's like 3 to 5. There's lots of different names. So 3 to 5, right? Just Japanese humans, which is a lot. But it's kind of understandable. There's also some weird choices.
What, you don't like Nikola Tesla being in your battle royale?
Kind of odd, and I know kind of what his fighting style will be, but it doesn't make sense with like the direction they were going with it. Jack the Ripper, I will only just give a pass because it's at least weird. Adam also barely gets a pass, and it is really pushing it. Rasputin? Why Rasputin?
Well, because he's the lover of the Russian queen. What more do you want?
I just feel like there's some people who don't even get on like the long list, let alone the short list, let alone the list of 13 in my mind. And I'm okay with a handful of like surprising choices. For the gods, I think Beelzebub, it's a fascinating choice. I don't think they'll do it well, but it's an interesting little choice. Sure, fuck it, why not Beelzebub? And so I'm okay with some oddball choices. But this one I'm like, did you try? What the fuck? What's the vision here? Episode 4, they're still fighting. They clash. Lubu's legs break, but his horse comes out. His soldiers become cheerleaders. He gets up onto the horse. We get more Lubu lore.
Oh,
we
you
see
are
him ride a
not gonna like
horse.
Beelzebub's design.
I can basically picture it, and what I'm picturing, I do not like.
Tell me what you think Beelzebub's design is going to be, and then I'm going to send you a picture. I want to hear the words from your mouth before I send it.
All right, there's two possible options, but it's shown to be the laziest, right? So it's just going to be unedgelord. It's just gonna be dark black and purple, maybe a little devilish. It's gonna be like a Helsing Ultimate Reject character, I guess is what I have in my mind.
And what would you want it to be?
Well, I mean,
anything else?
I would obviously, yeah. First of all, anything else, anything else. You could have it be, if you want to go full Lord of the Flies, make him like made out of flies or something, right? You can make him fly like in this weird thing. If you want, if you're just using it as like Satan, then feel free to have sort of like a Baphomet vibe to it. That'd be interesting. Like there's a handful of routes it could go. I think they're gonna go basic bitch, like far more basic bitch and uninteresting.
All right, here it is.
And
I'm gonna
instead of doing anything with the lore or myth, it's just like he's dark and spooky.
Here is his base design, and then I'm gonna show you one manga panel I found that at least kind of alludes to his namesake. Here's his base design.
God damn it, I knew it.
And here's like the closest they get.
Oh my god, at least there's a fly, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know how prevalent the fly is, but there is at least one like full page panel with it.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's
all right.
It's not great. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So wildly disappointing. So, back to episode 4, Lubu, he gets up onto his horse, right? And then we get some extended Lubu lore. And we cut back to the present. He's riding his horse a little bit. Then we cut into different extended Lubu lore.
Yes.
We just finished with some extended Lubu lore. We got a clip, and it's not like they're like interspersed throughout each other, right? No, we got one bit of Lubu lore, a clip of him riding the horse, and then a separate Lubu lore, different from the first. It's a new topic. It's a new lore dump. They use their super moves on each other. God damn it. Why does every character need super moves? Why are those the only moves they can do? Why not just have interesting back and forth? Jesus fucking Christ. And Lubu, he loses. He dies. The pacing is awful. It's taken 4 fucking episodes. The 3 that have been exclusively dedicated to this battle, and the fight scenes have been so bad. In that time, you've not spent it doing interesting things in the fight scenes. God, no. All you have done is, I will do my big move. Aha, you were able to evade or survive. Well, now I will do my big move. Oh, and what a twist. You thought you had the upper hand, but instead, I'm gonna do my secret big move. I'm fucking losing it. I'm losing it because what I said, even if the writing was bad, if the fight scenes were good, it could be salvaged. But the fight scene is so bad.
Oh, yeah.
The pacing is awful. It lasts way longer. Just show up, put an interesting fight in, right? If you want, because you might be like, well, maybe we want a little bit more story or character beyond that. Sure. So have a fight, right? And then have some like a little in between, right? 1 to 2 fights per an episode. I mean, 1 to 2 episodes per fight, and then half an episode to an episode per in between. And maybe they're like planning, maybe they're discussing, maybe you see bits and pieces of other characters, what they're doing, how some fighters are preparing, right? All that could be rad as hell. Why do we need to spend 4 episodes on one fight where we don't give a shit about the actual fight? Some interesting ideas are there and some baffling ideas, but who the fuck gives a shit because they don't do anything? They don't do anything. I hate super move fighting so fucking much. And I've talked about it on this podcast. Really, look, I'm a fan of pro wrestling, right? And what this show does well is when it evokes pro wrestling, like with the entrances specifically, I'm okay with it not rushing those. Like, feel the gravitas of these 2 fighters coming in. That I'm down for, and I think totally works. And episode 5 is more or less just that with Adam and Zeus, and still I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it works, even though Adam is the whitest man
Oh,
to ever exist.
God, like
It's fine, all right. And even though also episode 5, like Lubu's halberd explodes, and so the Valkyrie is dead, and they're like, "Oh, isn't this so sad?" And she had one line of dialogue. We only saw her really as a halberd. I don't give a shit about her.
Uh-huh.
But even with all that, like the entrances, they're cool. But here's the thing, all right? With pro wrestling, a lot of people, still today even, will make a comment like, it's fake, right? And I'm like, yeah. But they can tell interesting stories. And specifically, not only can they tell interesting stories, but then they can display insane athleticism within these theatrical battles with one another. You can have great back and forth that has phenomenal psychology and narrative behind it. And these are people doing it fucking live, in person, and it is so far beyond what the vast majority of anime and manga creators can make over time. Very deliberate. You can be deliberate. You can be meticulous. You can add special powers. You can break physics if you want to. And that's not an option for pro wrestling. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and you can put so much care into every single detail. So why the fuck is pro wrestling, even mediocre pro wrestling, so much better when it comes to fights, even though it has such greater limitations? Come the fuck on. Like, all I ask is for things to happen in fiction that are at least as good as what I can see on the regular every single day in real life, in fucking pro wrestling, right? I feel like that's not a high bar to clear when you can literally do anything.
Yeah, it's a high bar to clear for this show, apparently.
God, I hate that this show has this premise, because I want another creator to make this show.
Mm-hmm.
And just to do it so much better. Because the idea is a great one.
Yeah.
The idea is such a good one. And I have plenty of ideas of my own that I'll contribute, but not now. I'll save it for probably next, like, pre-banter or whatever. But there's so many ways to do this better. And so it is insane that this has the dumbest writing, the laziest, most bland fight scenes. Here, let me make a prediction, all right?
Okay.
Shaun?
All right, go for it.
So Adam, despite not traditionally having a weapon,
Yeah.
he unlike Lubu's halberd, this is just gonna be, I don't know, a random weapon that doesn't make sense, and that'll give him random extra powers that maybe, like, half make sense if you squint, but also, why the fuck is it Adam? What the hell? Zeus is gonna be surprised to be like, oh fuck, Adam can fight back. But then Zeus, who's already sort of gone Super Saiyan, right? He's gone his surprise extra form. He's gonna be like, well, have you considered my double mega surprise? And so he'll do something like that. I hate this show. I hate this show so much.
Okay, so
and the thing I hate most about it is that it took such a good premise.
So how do you feel about Adam using one of these?
Just some fucking brass knuckles? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And you are 100% right with how this fight goes.
Of course I am! Because that's gonna be how that lays the fucking groundwork for how I'm gonna guess at least the first, like, 5 or 6 fights go, and we'll say, except for one that's, like, remarkable in some way, maybe it ends nice and quick or just very sudden or blah blah blah. For one, there will be surprising. For all the others, they'll fit that exact formula. Then hopefully by around the halfway point, the creator will realize, oh, people are getting old of the exact same shit, and hopefully they'll change, though I'm not wildly confident.
Sorry, 5 or 6? Oh, Rem, I should probably tell you, in this first 12-episode season, we only get 3 fights.
Yeah, of course, because for some reason they're so extended. And and I'm okay with, like, a little bit of interstitial to show, like, I think it's kind of neat to see some of the lore of them, right? But also, where's the fucking fight? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so, Rem, this show is a fucking disaster, and I'm gonna tell you right now, your reaction right now is the exact same fucking one I had when I watched this show for the first time. Because, Rem, you know how fucking much I love the premise of this show? You know how much I fucking
It's
love
top tier.
I love a tournament arc. I love a good head-to-head combat situation.
And like the first episode, while it shows that it has very bad writing, that it makes it very evident very quickly. The end, where we get the first entrances with like Lubu and Thor, it is hype. It is hype. They know how to do the entrances. That's literally the only competent part of this entire show. The entrances hype you up for the fight that will be disappointed. And so you could watch the first episode and like me, and perhaps you had this similar experience, you'd still have hope, be like, okay, but I mean, this could be rad as hell. And then it isn't. And you're like, oh. Okay. It's not badly done, but with really cool fights. It's just bad. It's
Oh yeah, no, it is quite frankly like, and I've skimmed the manga to try and see a little bit more, see if there's any more like developments further on, and it's like about fight 4 or 5, it's like, man, there's not much going on, is there? And I mean, like, the fights are better in the manga, but that's simply due to the fact that, your imagination takes care of the in-between bits, like good manga do.
Yeah. You gotta allow yourself to imagine really cool shit happening.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the anime adaptation is more or less one-to-one to the manga, which isn't great. It isn't wonderful. And it is not exactly a beloved adaptation of a beloved manga, and I would go as far as to say it's an adaptation of a manga. But I believe, and it does have a second season, Rem, and it may be getting a third.
Of course,
if I'm not mistaken.
it's trying for 4. Who knows? Maybe 5.
And I think the second season has like 4 fights in it, maybe 5. I didn't watch it because I couldn't force myself. As much as I'd love to see the Buddha fight,
Of course.
Because I mean, how he gonna do that?
He is an odd choice, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely not like his
and
whole.
Once again, you can allow odd choices. Except the odd choices allow you to get a little bit more creative. But I don't think they will be doing that. I don't think that they're very creative people. So I don't trust that.
Yeah, and I've got to tell you right now, Rem, my first interaction with this show, outside of its premise, was someone supercut the fight between Zeus and Adam together, and I watched that, and I was like, all right, that was at least half entertaining. And then when I went back and watched the whole thing, I was like, oh my god, there's so much in between.
Yes.
There is.
They fuck the pacing so hard. Genuinely, have a fight for these kinds of fights. Only like one should last 3 episodes. The rest should last 1 or 2.
But yeah, there are only 3 total fights in the first season, and that's a 12-episode season. So you can do the math.
Man.
So it's about 3 episodes of fight if you don't count like all the extraneous stuff. Which is,
damn it.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Rem, boy, was I disappointed with this show as well.
I'm excited to rant to you about my version in next week's Patreon pre-banter, because I think I have better idea.
Yeah.
I would rant about it now, but I genuinely don't know how long I'm gonna rant for. So, and if it derails a bit much, but I'll give a preview. Shaun, choose 2 numbers. It can be the same number between 1 and 13, and you'll see 2 of my choices.
Okay, let's just go with 3 and 5. Why not?
3 and 5. All right. So, on the god you have chosen is Anansi. Are you familiar at all with Anansi?
Only in the loosest of terms.
Yeah. So it is an African spider trickster god of sorts.
Okay.
Right.
So
it's
terrifying.
like one of the. It's one of the trickster gods. The fact that it's like a spider and whatnot makes it even better. Also, already, it wouldn't work in Japan or to far too many weebs, because it's African, and boy oh boy, racism. That's a major difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
This anime, it's like, oh yeah, a bunch of different animal kinds of gods for sure. Dark-skinned gods, I don't know about that. And what was the other number?
5.
5. All right. Here we have an interesting one. All right, because I'm down to even lean into a little bit of like magical realism, right?
Okay.
I'm down to sort of push and exaggerate some abilities of humanity. In this case, Joan of Arc.
Oh, hell
Right.
yeah.
So, young warrior, but specifically, what's going to give her even a modicum of a chance is she's going to have visions, right? Visions of what's to come that can then help her out.
Oh my god, Joan of Arc, the Lisan al-Gaib.
Jesus Christ. and so, see, it's just stuff like this. It's like, oh, here we fucking go. I think there's so many ways this could be done in a great way, and Record of Ragnarok just didn't. Also, it's so fucking dumb that this process is called Ragnarok. But like,
When Ragnarok is a thing.
Not only is it a thing, but here's what you do, because Ragnarok, it sounds great, and if you want the whole thing to be called Ragnarok, make it so humanity is challenging it, right? And it's the humans calling it Ragnarok, right? Because Ragnarok is all about the fall of the gods. And so it's like the humans being like, hey, this is what it is. This is the twilight of the gods, bitch. And have it be more of a taunt than anything, instead of the gods, for some reason, being like, oh yeah, our event, the twilight of the gods. Like, it just doesn't.
So are you saying that the original Japanese title is much better? The direct translation would be either Valkyrie of the End or Valkyrie Apocalypse?
That's also stupid as fuck.
Okay, I thought so too, thank God.
That's also bad. Also, there's been no motive whatsoever for why Brunhilde and the other Valkyries have decided to do this.
Oh, there is one. I'll tell you right now, bud, it ain't great.
Is it just like vague sense of injustice or something?
Oh, they just really fucking hate the gods and want to see them die.
That's such a stupid.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, it ain't great, bud. It ain't great.
This show angers me on such a deep level.
Oh, same. Like, because it has, like, the potential to be something truly fantastic and amazing. But unfortunately, the author didn't really think much through, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he really likes drawing muscly men and women with massive tits.
With so many gods from so many different pantheons and so many people from so many different walks of life, it would be so great to have people look distinct and different. Hell, if you really want to tickle my fancy, make every pantheon and each person's, like, depending on like which region, which culture, a slightly different art style, right?
Oh yeah.
Which it does unintentionally, not in a deliberate way of like different pantheons or whatever. Just some people are drawn in a completely different art style for some reason.
Oh god. So I've just looked up something that's not gonna make you happy. In fact, it might make you angrier.
Oh god, that'll be tough, but let's see it.
So we've been complaining about the author?
Yeah.
This manga has 2 authors and a third one to do the art, so the authors don't even have anything to do with the art.
Guys, 2 people were there just for the story. Because I, if anything, assumed that like this was just one of those like artist things where it's like I came up with a good idea, but I don't know how to write a story. There were 2 authors who were like, we're the ones writing the story.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
This is ruined my day, Sean. I thought genuinely there was a moment towards the end of episode 1 where I was like, yo, might be rad as fuck actually. 'Twas not to be.
No. Hey, Rem, that's exactly how most people felt. But how would we quantify that in a number, Rem? What do you think the mouse score for Record of Ragnarok is?
All right. So it seems like I'm not on an island being disappointed, but at the same time, the weebs are weebs, and it's gotten multiple seasons and will likely get a third or whatever. So it's not doing awfully, but I have to imagine. I think a lot of people, perhaps a little less articulately than I, will be like, just show us the action, which is true. I think it's a little bit more multifaceted, but that is a very true point. I think it's going to be a 6 High 6, 6.87.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rem, as I pointed out, this anime came out in 2021, and yes, middle of summer 2021, coming out of us after well, I would still say during, one of the worst global pandemics ever. And, everybody was willing to watch just about anything because, God, we were starved for entertainment because going outside was kind of hard. So, just shy of 200,000 people rated this show.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was also exclusively on Netflix. So, everybody had access to it. And it was like, hey, this is a pretty
wait, one sec. Exclusively on Netflix?
Yeah, it is an
6.85. just the tiny bit of Netflix bias. Maybe it's even more significant, but I won't think about it too much. I'm just gonna slightly tap it down.
Oh God. Yeah, no. So Record of Ragnarok. Fuck me running.
If you say it's like an 8.01, I'm gonna die.
You're just gonna stop. You're gonna cease to exist.
My heart will stop. If you say it's 8 point something, the next words better be a call to 911. Some emergency details, because I will.
Well, we'll know. Folks who aren't caught up will know if there's for some reason not an episode next week what happened.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you there is an 8 in this rating.
Better be the fucking last or middle. Middle, I could be right if it's middle.
But with 200,000 ratings, Record of Ragnarok is sitting nice and pretty at a 6.81.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness.
Oh yeah, no, people fucking hate this show. You want to know what people had the most fun with this show when it came out, aside from being angry at the fight scenes?
What?
People made so many redraws and memes of the two dudes holding up Aphrodite's tits with a variety of characters and themselves. Usually a variety of buff men with massive pecs.
I feel like that, like, I understand, like, what they were trying to do there. It just didn't
work.
I think at all.
No.
Especially because it's like, it's just like, look, she has tits. And it's like, if she's the goddess of beauty, right? Then, if anything, have two, like, hunky ass guys fawning over her, or like, sort of, the, like, Price is Right or Deal or No Deal, just kind of showing her off, right? Not just her tits, because it's like, all beauty just being like, God damn.
Like a dual pair of announcers that are just like absolutely gassing her up everywhere she goes.
Yeah, like there are ways that you could do that, and and maybe maybe I would feel differently if there were fucking women, goddesses, or strong women throughout history. They were involved in this fucking tournament.
Oh God, I can't remember if she shows up in episode 5, but I do not want to show you what Eve looks like.
Oh, mother of God.
Because, you might just say, isn't that just Aphrodite with a different haircut?
Holy shit, I'm losing my... All right, we have to...
We gotta stop. So, I guess the final question is, any chance you want to watch more Record of Ragnarok, Rem?
No, God, no.
Yeah. No, that's completely fair. And yeah, you're right. Everybody fucking hates the show, and the people who rate it highly, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what is going through these people's heads.
They're people who, what they're creating in their head, right, they think they're watching.
Yeah, which is probably why the manga is as successful as it is.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm imagining something so much better than I'm receiving. And it's like, yeah, there's almost certainly a good show in your mind, bud. It's a great concept. And so if you imagine anything in that concept, it's going to be more interesting and higher quality than what you actually got.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the negative reviews are saying that this adaptation absolutely demolished everything that the manga built. But as someone who skimmed the manga, y'all, you're projecting a lot of what you think is going on with what is actually going on. But at any rate, I think we'll stop because I feel like you're about to explode.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Rem rapidly putting together his own version of this story that is, quite frankly, going to be way better in concept alone, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime out of context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. As of late, I've been playing Elden Ring on every Tuesday with a randomizer, and I have also been every Thursday, and I think I'm going to try and keep this up until I'm done, been trying to play every Final Fantasy in order. Dear God, I'm going to be at it forever. But if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who we thanking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our blind bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are displaying our breasts in forceful fashion. And on that list, we have Yandere Neko, Yams, Wolfire56, Why Does Everything Want Banana Sean? Where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Wes Kane applying for the assistant editor spot. Week 12 of using my Patreon name to request code Geese. Watching Requiem for a Spoonman at 0.5 speed. Variant, totally good. Titan CNH. The Susanator. The Opie Wrangler, formerly known as the Mommy Milkers. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Rono Zoro as my navigator. That time I reincarnated as a podcast host and forced to weeb. That's no place in Fairy Tale's 100 Girlfriends. Turban. Swaraj Verdi. Super Zoo. Stacy's mom. Sean wants to give Spoonman a thank and yank. Sean's hair apparent. Sean ruined my happy sugar life when he plans to let Red-Pilled Rollins out on June 18th as he shares his views on, and who shares his views on what? We'll say, I suppose.
I think that's my most hated of your memes, honestly.
You hear that? Red-Pilled Rollins calling me fake news. It's an old tried and true tactic, ladies and gentlemen.
If I ever stop living, it's gonna be because of Rem.
Sean Rollins in The Guilty Thrust will be the best ecchi trash anime coming this fall. Sean reminds me of half the trans girls I know. Sean, quit soaking with my grandma, please. Sean can't goon to the new Pope. It's not the same. Sean and Remington killed the Pope.
What?
Share from the shark plushie. Sean and Judy featuring the Pope's cuck casket.
Oh my Christ almighty. Holy shit, that's dark.
Cucked him to death. Ryan Moody, Ross Palmer, riding on the struggle bus. Rhiannon Williams, Remington rimming and ramming a ton. Sean, not so. Remington is right. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Red Venom, Professor Fox, Pro Tips Out of Context has run out of things to post. Will come back soon. Please bring on more guests. I need to add to my anime podcaster nut collection. PJSK Addict encourages Alien Stage for Pride Month. Week 3, it has been... it has an 8.80 on Mal, which is super well-deserved. Paco Musico, never letting Rem forget about his vampire past. Makeka 7 Hirto, Macaroni Uchiha, Lucky Stars the King of Moe, Loading, Link Joe Girl, Linnerd 98, King Rich Rock, Katie, Cassidy, Jax, Jam Hands, Jake Dent. I'm making Rem say ethnic slurs until you bring back the Chef and Musco tier, Sean, you white devil. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond, now I cry. I took a wrong turn, do you know the way? I can't believe I made an account for this. I am the very model of a modern mid-teen Misaka. I've informed anime and damn, nothing rhymes with Misaka. Hurry up and show Rem Monogatari before I decide to door knock for JD Vance. Gordon Ramsay's raw sausage. God. Glenn Michael Dolan. George Edward Bottom, aka Bear Trap. Hey Rem, check my dog out on the Discord. His name is Cerberus. Sean and Dylan have seen him. All right, 1 second.
He is very cute.
I'll check out
a
dog.
Yeah.
That's a cute dog.
That's
a cute dog.
Yeah, it's very good.
All right, you've got a good dog. Fern the Fernford. Farmer Weeb wonders if wrestling is just redneck anime. Or, as I listed in this, it's so much better than that. I need to emphasize to you guys, it's better than that.
Okay, calm down, Rem. You're going to pop if you keep ranting.
Just once, if I could see an anime where a character does literally any of the shit that Seth Rollins does in real life. Like, just a little bit. Fantide, Erica McCorkle, Danielle Riot. Daddy Rem told me about time story about Sean Snut. Calderius. I'm remembering, this was also the wrestling pre-banter was this episode, wasn't it? No, it was last episode.
It was last episode. So wrestling fans are loving it, whereas wrestling haters are probably upset with you.
Like, why does he keep talking about it? It's better than you think, guys. It is.
I can confirm I didn't care about wrestling until Remington made me watch wrestling.
The idea of wrestling, I agree, is kind of trash. Actual wrestling, pretty cool. Calderius, combing Rem's back hair for belly rubs later, excuse me. Cheese Monkey, Butler Rat's Twitch is doing pretty good. Oh, and Lindsay affiliate means I can start earning money from people watching and ads. Bustin' like 2-liter Rollins, yes, it's come.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
I don't want the clarification.
We asked for clarification.
I specifically said I don't want the clarification.
Brockhart for Geodude, sorry for the listeners of Isander and Coda who might see my names coming up. Boring siren, blarf. Blackout drunk before butt stuff, says Miska. Biden's prostate. Jeez. I mean, and then, you know, shout out to Biden's prostate having a real rough time right now. Is that a sympathetic message to?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like. Look, man. I just talk about anime on the internet.
As we all know, Biden's prostate is the most prostates, which is why it's trying to kill him.
Christ Almighty!
Can we keep that in? I don't know. Shout out to Joe Biden, our frequent listener. Sent us plenty of emails saying, you know, through his presidency that our podcast was the thing that really helped him. Bento Kato, Astral, Amazing Muffin, Aisha Gachi, a Moe piece of trash. And now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. Sean, what are they going to get this week?
Considering the extreme lack of it, I'm going to give everybody some goddesses.
Hell yeah. All right, and on this list we have your friendly neighborhood kami.
I want to kind of try and steer away from Greek if I can. Let's go with Epona. That's the Celtic god of horses.
Umbrasite.
Janguli, which is a Buddhist goddess of snakes.
Truckoon operator number 42.
Pakhet, Egyptian goddess of hunting.
Tokyo Anon is a regulation listener that listens to 100% Eat because it's morning somewhere, Blue Satan.
Rhiannon, horses, Celtic. Wait, hold on a second. Is there more than one Celtic goddess of horses? Interesting.
They love their horses.
I mean, you know, my heritage, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Tokyo Anon from Bandori Utsumaiko loves when Harukage gets played because it annoys Soyo-san.
Ame no Uzume, the Shinto Japanese goddess of many things, but dancing is one of them.
Titaro asks what y'all's thought is on the new D&D edition.
My god, did they fuck up a lot of things. There are some good things mixed in. You gotta cherry pick them out, but my god, my poor paladins. Let's go with, let's see, I want to kind of skip that. Like some of these gods don't have hyperlinks, and that concerns me. But let's go with one of the creation goddesses, Izanami no Kami from Shinto Japanese.
That mouse girl.
Similarly, let's go with Nana Buruku, Yoruba.
Starting that fake grind.
I know it's not. Look, so it's Egyptian, so it's probably pronounced Newt, but it is spelled N-U-T.
Nut. Spoon. Did I say Spoonman the Aristocrat?
I believe you did, yes.
Silent secondary.
Let's go with Sedna, who is an Inuit wise woman, apparently. I don't know much about Inuit stuff. I'd like to learn more.
Shawnee is too much of a coward to show Remy the OG Trigun because he is scared of real emotions.
Some destruction/vengeance gods. How do we feel about Bast?
Scourge has Miska and an IRL girlfriend now.
Let's go with Durga, which is Hindu.
Sammy K sincerely hopes Sean likes his hot dogs Chicago style. #Pope Soak 2025.
Also, Hindu is Indrani. And if I mispronounce any of these, I promise I'm doing my best.
Roscop.
Eats Papalotl, which is Mesoamerican.
Rem treats Sean like the Vaporeon he is.
I beg your pardon?
Hey, Sean, did you know in terms of male human and
No, I'm not going to think too much about that. I will go insane if I do.
You'll become too horny.
Christ almighty. Let's go with the Celtic goddess of destruction, Morrigan.
Power Salt begs Sean to stop soaking in his low pony. He still has a couple gym badges he needs to earn.
Let's go with Pele of Hawaiian.
One Piece is the best anime. Prove me wrong.
You know what? I'll throw in one Greek goddess, since it's not one of the more common ones. Under the god, how to sum her up? She's like the goddess of like agriculture and like family and fertility. Demeter or Demeter, one of the two.
Hardly know her. Ha. Yep. Nurikaza #SONR soaking one nut Rollins.
Let's have Freya from Norse.
Monique Gautry is everything you ever said you wanted in an anime. This week the MC has one better character trait, but he knows.
There are so many goddesses of fertility and motherhood. Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go with Parvati of Hindu.
Mike.
You know what? You can have Artemis from Greek.
Miguel Delion.
Let's go with a guardian goddess, Kuan Yin, a Taoist goddess.
I'd like to start a petition to replace the word brat with kudere.
Sekhmet of Egyptian.
It is now May, and Shaun is yet to show Rem begging Dream it's my go because he's afraid of Mortis claiming his soul.
Let's go with Brigid of Celtic, who is very much like a healing goddess.
I, Rem, demand you show me Bandori it's my go, otherwise I'll play Harikage again and again and again and again and again.
Okay, let's try this one. It's a Mayan goddess. Ixchel?
I, Matsumi, will have Mortis swallow Shaun's soul, never to return unless he shows Rem Bandori it's my go.
How about a goddess of humor and fun? Uzume of Shinto Japanese.
Hidden Otaku.
Let's go with Mot for justice and Egyptian.
D.
Magic, Frigga, Norse.
Carver 271.
Let's go with Hathor, who is about love and marriage, apparently.
Beethoven 1201.
Gotta be other things. Let's go with, let's just go with Persephone, because I like Persephone.
Beagle Boy wants One Piece on episode 400.
Christ almighty. The problem with this list is it has a bunch of overlapping ones, and that's annoying. But let's go with, I don't think I've said Hecate yet, which is like the goddess of crossroads, amongst other things.
And Allfather prepares to riot for Pride Month. He does not want to repeat of last year, Shaun.
And let's go with, I'm going to butcher this one, and I'd love to see you try to pronounce it as well, because my god, Zokiquetzal, I believe is how that one is pronounced.
All right, and now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where this week Shaun will pose two forces in your life that are colliding, and I'm going to tell you which one is going to win.
Oh god, okay.
And on that list we have, I only watch WrestleMania for the plot, says Miska as Rhea Ripley boldly enters the ring. The plot thickness.
Okay, fair. I know I'll call it post when I see it. Okay, the opposing forces for you is gonna be hunger and love.
And it's a no contest. They have a baby, and that baby is lust. Next up we have, I love when Shaun is wet, juicy, and a nice pink color. He gets my hands sticky, but I don't mind.
Jesus Christ. Okay, the two opposing forces in your life are clearly horniness. Horniness and, let's call it, willpower.
There's a lot of back and forth between the two, and in an upset, willpower wins. Willpower wins very narrowly. Last but not least, we have follow anime out of context on Blue Sky. Dylan, play the new Twitch sound after this. Shaun, why are you looking at that Judy plush?
Hachi Machi.
Oobow. And on the Blue Sky, they're shilling Shaun's Twitch all nice and good.
Yeah, I really hate that new sound effect.
Well, what's the internal fight they have?
Yeah, their internal fight is, between the finances and the State of the Union.
Oh, I see. Well, we're gonna go with finances by disqualification.
I see.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.